Hey everybody, it's David Duford here at Final Expense Agent Mentor at theagentmentor.com, where I help agents like you succeed at selling and generating leads in the final expense business, and that is the purpose of today's video. In fact, the title is the No BS Guide to Final Expense Leads for the year 2018 and beyond. So the reason I'm putting this video together is really it's a updated compilation of some of the past best of videos that I've done regarding lead generation and the final expense. Some things have changed in the final expense lead generation business. It's important that you understand what your options are when generating leads and where you can go to purchase leads. One of the biggest challenges that I experience is that a lot of agents struggle because they have inferior leads. Maybe they buy leads from a bad lead source. Maybe they don't have access to generating enough leads to stay in the kind of business that they want. So really this video is done for that person in mind. I want to give you out there what I know as far as the best options available for a variety of different leads. To kind of summarize what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about direct mail first, why it's good, and then the vendors that I like. We're going to also talk about Facebook leads. That's kind of the newer lead form that's out there that has proven to get some results. I'm going to show you where you can buy those and how you can actually generate them yourself for a significant discount. We're going to talk about telemarketed leads. You'll probably be a little surprised at my opinions on those. And then we'll summarize with seminar generating leads, which is a method that I learned from a great agent in San Antonio named Matt Mangia, and have crafted to make into my own system. So let's get started. So first of all, we're going to talk about direct mail. Direct mail is king. If you haven't heard of that phrase yet, now you know. And when it comes to final expense, direct mail is the best way to generate the highest quality leads as well as the best responding type of leads in the most consistent manner. So if I were to summarize this video for you, if you're brand new to final expense or you're thinking about starting and you're wondering how am I going to talk to people, I'm going to tell you this: buy direct mail leads only. If you just listen to that advice, you'll do way better than 90% of the agents out there when it comes to seeing a quality type of prospect on a consistent basis. However, that's just not the only type of information you should know. What you should know is what kind of lead usually leads to general okay levels of success on a consistent basis. And then you should also know what kind of vendors you should deal with. So what I'm going to proceed to do is give you an example of a direct mail final expense lead. And then I'm also going to share with you 3 different vendors that I have a lot of experience with that I highly recommend, and then explain to you the pros and cons of both. So I'm going to take off of my screen here and then show you the lead. So that should do it. Perfect. All right. So you're looking at a lead sample on my website. And so what we're looking at here is this lead here. I don't know if I can get it bigger. Maybe I can. Yeah, bingo. Okay. Hopefully that looks better and you can actually see it. I think you can see it good enough. Let me do this real quick. Yeah, there we go. All right. Thank you for your patience here. Just want to make sure you can see this thing. Okay, so this is a standard lead program or lead piece that we use. This is what I would call a vanilla piece, okay? And I'll just read it real quick if you can't. The headline says 2015 benefit information for Georgia residents. So that's always updated to whatever state and year you're in. The next line reads, you may qualify for a state-regulated program to pay for your final expenses regardless of your medical condition, even if you've been turned down before. The next line says it is important to know how you qualify for this insurance benefit or life insurance benefit available to you. This benefit will pay 100% of all funeral expenses up to $35,000. This program is tax-free for Georgia residents. You are entitled to receive free information as a resident of Georgia. Please return the postage paid card today. That's how, generally speaking, most of them read. Now, what it comes down to is that there's some variation in the copy. What I mean by that is sometimes you'll see, it'll say, it's important to know how you qualify for this benefit. It may say, important to know how to qualify for this life insurance benefit or to qualify for this information. It may sound, tidbitty, like not a big deal, but it does make a huge difference. So the lead houses will play with the verbiage on it to lift response rates to get the most cards back that they can. If they're having challenges in an area. And same thing on the first line. You may have cards that say you may qualify for a program to pay for final expenses. You may qualify for a state-regulated life insurance program. Those are my favorite ones to work. So you'll see variations upon the theme, right? But this is generally speaking what you see 95% of the time that works consistently well in pretty much all markets. Some of these people will be confused and think it's some kind of government program. Of course, there's going to be those people that aren't. We're not worried about so much of the people who are confused. It's the 20 to 25% that will buy consistently. And so that means 70 to 75% of the time, even if they say you are a scammer, it doesn't matter. We don't care about them, right? We're concerned about the buyers, and they're always in the margins. They're always in the minority. So that's a lead piece. Let me go ahead and take you off the screen here. I'm going to show you 3 different vendors. And again, I'm doing this in a way where I have to make sure that you can actually see what I'm looking at. All right. So I think this is good enough. So this is leadconcepts.com. Lead Concepts is a vendor that does not per 1,000 pieces. No, they do per 1,000 pieces, but no fixed price lead programs. Great people, great to work with, very simple. They make the process really easy. I highly recommend them to use their Walmart gift card leads. Those add an included copy of Send This Back for Free gift card. As long as you get the card that says life insurance on it several times, it tends to be good. But this is better used in higher response rate markets. So when we say higher response rate markets, I'm talking about places where you can get a pretty high response, and that really is hard to find in some places. So metro areas, the Northeast, Michigan, parts of Ohio, and then parts of the Pacific Northwest. You could look at these. If you're not in those areas, I would look at what I'm going to show you next, these next 2, which are fixed price lead programs. So what we're looking at here is Need a Lead. They're needalead.com. Brady is the owner. He's been in business for a very long time. They offer a fixed price lead program. So it depends on the state, but usually it's between $30 and $35. And the leads are very good quality. They come in at a fixed price. So that means that if you get more leads or you get less leads than anticipated, you don't have to worry about being in a position to pay higher than the price point that you paid. Because you could drop 1,000 Walmart cards, and if you only get back 10 of the 1,000 and the cost is $500, it's actually a little less, you pay $50 a lead. That's crazy. You can't sustain a final expense business very easily at those price points. So I say all this because if you're in another area besides where the areas I indicated earlier, try out Need a Lead. I have agents that do it. They like the program. All right, so next we're going to look at the vendor that I use, and I'll just share who I use here. It's called RGI Assets, or RGI in general is how I refer to them. They produce leads on an agency level. They won't take you as an agent, but they are great to use because they provide a very competitively priced fixed price lead. Depends on where the leads are being generated, what the average costs are. I offer this lead program. I highly recommend it for my agents that come on. I'm very satisfied with them. Generally speaking, they do a great job. I've worked with them probably in some capacity for 4 or 5 years. So they've done a really good job. So that's direct mail. Those are just 3 quick vendors that I would highly consider working with and highly recommend. Again, if you were to work with me in the final expense business, I would first look at RGI leads to start with. And then if for some reason we had trouble getting those leads, we would look at either Need a Lead second and have a last option for direct mail for Lead Concepts, even though I like them a lot. They just don't do fixed price leads, so we can't do as much business with them. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Facebook leads. So Facebook leads are kind of the newest element to the final expense lead generation game. They kind of started coming on the scene back in 2015, 2016. I'm pretty sure somebody was doing them before that. But Facebook marketing has really just picked up tremendously across the board for a lot of industries. So the process is pretty simple. There's 2 ways to do it. You can buy Facebook leads at a fixed price. They usually start coming in within a couple of days. And my experience with those Facebook leads is that they're better than telemarketed leads, but not as good as direct mail. More on that in a minute. The other way that you can generate Facebook leads is that you can do it yourself. So I wanted to show you this to you really quick. And for agents that work with me and are contracted with me in my mentorship program, or if you're in my Inner Circle program, I actually teach you how to do your own Facebook lead generation. So this is the section on my website where I walk you through how to set up your Facebook ads, what copy to use, how to scale up your ads to generate more leads, and it's all done for you, okay? And it walks you step by step how to set it up. It's very simple. And what you find is that normally, depending on the vendors you go to, You can pay $20 if you work with me per lead. If you are in my inner circle, it's $26.50 to $27.50. You find if you do this yourself, you just eliminate the middleman. You eliminate me. So you eliminate the markup. You control the campaign, so wherever it is you want to work. And some markets I've seen cost as low as $10 to $15 a lead. It's incredible. So if you take the time to learn how to do this, and I teach you how to do this, whether you're an agent or work in the inner circle, then with me, then you can take control of your lead program and start getting leads wholesale instead of paying retail. But last thing here is that these leads are weird in the sense that they're they have a large polarity. So I had an agent named Chris out of Texas, and he was describing these leads. I thought it was a perfect example. They're either hot or they're not. They either want final expense bad, or they have no clue why you're there at their door. The other thing is that you're going to have to probably call a lot more to get these people to pick up, or you're just going to have to door knock. One thing I tell everybody who buys Facebook leads from me is that you've got to door knock these leads if you want to get the most results out of them. Why? Because a lot of these people being online are more sophisticated than our direct mail responders. Therefore, they're probably going to be a little bit more prone to screen your phone calls, okay? But when you go door knock them, they're going to act very much similar in the way that you would with a direct mail lead. So make sure you utilize both phone calls and door knocks to work your Facebook leads. You're going to get that much better results from it. Okay, number 3 here, telemarketed leads. Let me give you the short on telemarketed leads. They suck, okay? 2018, telemarketed leads for the most part are junk. They're garbage. I don't care who you think you're buying telemarketed leads from. And this, again, key word here is buying from somebody else. If you're buying telemarketed leads, you're either buying complete garbage that's generated by people who cannot barely speak the English language that are offshored, or number 2, you're buying from somebody who is essentially generating an illegal lead. So let me explain what I mean. So there was a point about a year ago in 2017 where we generated what's called avatar leads. You may have actually seen a video where I actually talk about avatar leads. It's still out there. I don't sell them anymore. The reason they were good is there was an automation type of process. There was a soundboard. The offshore people didn't actually speak to them. There was a recording and they pressed buttons to talk. And it was completely compliant. We could get leads for like $5, $6, $7 a lead. It was great. What happened is the government saw how great it was and made it illegal. And therefore, what we ended up doing is we were just left with either sourcing leads locally or sourcing leads in a way that we have to go outsource it in the traditional way. Excuse me, sorry about that, I had the cough. So the point I'm saying here is that at this point now, if you buy leads, in order to get them at a cost-effective basis, you've got to find them offshore. That means India or the Philippines or Pakistan. And the problem is we're calling on old people that just can't hear well. All right, when you start talking to them and you got a bad accent and your English isn't that good, what do you think is going to happen? They're just going to hang up the phone. Okay, or if they call it a lead, it is the least level of quality lead. Like the lead is a callback. You know, like people will just agree to a callback to get off the phone with you. That's not a lead. That's what these vendors out there sell. It's garbage. Don't be taken for this crap. So what do you do instead? And then the other aspect that I forgot to mention is voicemail leads. If you see anybody that sells voicemail leads, press 1 leads, these are all illegal, flat out illegal. They may claim that they do it compliantly, but I promise you there's no way to do it compliantly. They say that to convince you to buy from them. There's one vendor in particular I won't name, been around for like 6, 7 years. I don't know how this guy isn't sitting in some federal pen right now, but he pimps these leads and gets away with it. I don't know. But anyways, you do it at your own risk. I don't touch it. It's not worth the risk. I got something to lose. And the government hates telemarketers, so don't be that guy. So what do you do on telemarketing? The only thing I would say that's can be somewhat successful is calling by yourself, cold calling. Or you could also pay somebody to do it for you, where you can control the script, make it more specific, set quality appointments. You may pay a little bit more, but that is the only way I could see cold calling actually working successfully. Otherwise, it's pretty much a dead end in the lead generation world. I do not recommend it. I don't even recruit agents that just want to buy telemarketed leads. It's just not worth it. They're just junk. It's not worth it. So last and final lead program here I want to talk about. I love this one. I learned this a couple years ago. I actually employed it for a year and a half, did a lot of business this way. and it's using seminar marketing. Concept is simple. We find places where seniors reside or they go to as an activity, and we do a quick 10-minute presentation on final expense options. And from that, we develop high quality, highly qualified leads that close at a high ratio. So I have agents that will sell for each seminar a policy or two. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're doing 3 a week, that's 4, 5, 6 policies that they almost pay nothing for. There's no lead acquisition cost beyond buying food and a gift card to give away as a prize. The seminars develop very good leads because they're sold on you as the expert. You get up there, you talk, people are impressed or they're not, and you only spend the time with the people that are convinced that you could help them. And you can repeat this and scale it. You can do this like I do if you're a nut, 4, 5, 6 times a week. If you're a little bit more moderate, 2 or 3 times a week can keep you busy, and it could earn you a high 5-figure or low 6-figure income. Doing seminars is something that is a great way to get started in final expense if you've got more heart and determination than actual capital to pay for direct mail. One thing I will point out to you if you are interested, I do a program for people who come into my mentorship program where I teach them how to do seminar marketing. I have an incomplete, I guess you could call it a business in a box, video training program where I give a seminar. You get to see a live one. You get the scripts that you can read to learn it and tell you how to find everything you need to in order to set up an effective seminar program. You can buy this program and not necessarily work with me either. I usually sell it for $250 on a one-time basis or $150 a month for 2 months if you want to extend it over a payment basis. That is subject to change. That may not always be the price if you watch this at a later date, but that's what I'm doing now. If you're interested, let me know. So that's a quick summary of what's out there right now in the lead world for final expense. The summary of everything mentioned here is if you do final expense, I'm a believer you've got to buy your direct mail leads. That is where you stick your leads at, okay? That should be where 95% plus of your lead generation is done from, okay? I only look to seminar marketing and Facebook leads now as supplementary to direct mail, okay? It's just very difficult to find people who can consistently keep up with some of the alternative methods on a longer term basis and make that their cornerstone to their business. It's not that it can't be done. It's just I have a hard time finding people who do it. I certainly know agents that do all of their leads through Facebook leads. I have agents that do all of their leads through seminars, but those are exceptions to the rules. There's a reason there's exceptions because there's rules, right? The rule is direct mail is king. So you got to look at direct mail as really being the best way to start this business off on the right foot, to give yourself the best chance. A lot of people fail this business is because they look at the price, they see $2,000 or $3,000 over the course of 5 weeks. Before I get anything, oh, I better start with cheap telemarketed leads. Could be the worst thing in the world to do. You might as well just quit before you start. So if you're leery about this, don't do this business. Otherwise, get a job, save money up. Don't jump in. Look at this business seriously. If you can't start immediately, take the time to build up the necessary capital reserves. Get a credit card, borrow money from family. If you're really serious about this business, you can quickly pay that stuff off because the capital requirements aren't that bad to get started. So if you got any questions about these lead programs, I welcome any comments, concerns, anything you'd like me to clarify. My name is Dave Duford. You can go to my website if you'd like to learn more about my mentorship program or my Inner Circle program. It's feagentmentor.com. Just send me a message there and I'll be happy to send you more information. And then also like and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much again for watching, and we'll see you some other time. Take care.